Delighted to be joined today by Linda Plant. Linda, how are you?
Well, very well, thank you.
Good.
Alive and well.
That's all we are. You talk about kind of sustainable business success.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Well, I guess when you get to my age and you're still in business and you've had a long journey, and that journey has been in many different variations, from fashions to electronics to property to interior design, not even to mention The Apprentice, which brought a whole new aspect to my life. I guess I've sustained. I'm still at it. I'm still working at it. I've had the highs, I've had the lows, but I'm still here. And I think that's probably because I'm the real deal.
Do you get, I love the fact that do you get the same feeling kind of as it always about like success and like the journey, or or has it evolved and changed?
No, I say this, money was never my God. I came from absolutely nothing. So of course when I made some money, it was nice. I could buy stuff, I could do a bit more. It gives you financial freedom. But I love business. Business is like a hobby to me.
Yeah.
So if you ask me if I get the same buzz, yeah, I do. And I'm always evolving. I'm always doing different things. And I really never know where the journey's going to take me. But I know I'm on that journey. So yeah, I love it. I love business.
And it's really interesting what you say. So when you talk to people, and like kind of especially entrepreneurial type people, if they're driven by the money, do you think we're too much driven by what we think the end goal is, the money, or?
I think true entrepreneurs are not driven by the money. I think they're not. I think they're driven by the buzz, by the success, by the business. Look at Alan Sugar, people like that. I think the money is part of it. But I don't think, if you would ask many entrepreneurs, really successful entrepreneurs, is it the money? I think not. I think it's that buzz of business. It's that drive. It's that drive that's not within everybody. But we try. Now in this stage of life, since The Apprentice, I've got a whole new genre to me, which is inspiring people. But inspiration, it has to come from within, drive, resilience. I don't think it's the money, but of course, the money's nice. But as I said, when I started, I had absolutely zero. As you know, I started on a market stall.
Yes, absolutely.
And yeah, I liked the money. I sold my first business at 29. And sure, it was life-changing. It was life-changing. But I didn't want to retire at 29.
You always, although I'm waiting for my next thing.
Yeah, well, I sold my business at 29 to a public company. They had 21 other companies, and 2.5 years later, they called me up and said, "We've bought an insurance company. It's taken us down. Do you want the business back?" And my former husband said, "Well, do we want it?" I said, "Well, I'm 32. Of course I want it back."
Were you worried about the fact that could I do it again with the same business?
No. I think, that I wasn't worried if I could do it again, because I was the business. When they bought our business, I knew in that particular business, when you're in a trading business, and I am a trader, whether it's fashions or electronics, that business was me.
Yeah.
Not to say that I did it alone, because you can't build a big business. Not the type of business I had alone. You need people, you need a team, but also even employing that team is important. And you've got to be brave in business. You've got to be brave in life.
Yeah.
As you get more successful, I do believe the downside becomes more relevant. When you've got nothing, what's the downside going to be? When you've got something, you do think of it. But I've always been a brave person. I've always gone for it, and
Have there been times when you've had to check yourself over the fact that am I not taking that extra step because I don't want to take the risk, or you just naturally do it?
I've naturally done it. If I felt something's absolutely wrong, you have to have gut feels in life, don't you? If I felt something's absolutely wrong, I won't do it. And I've had challenges. In 2008, when the wheel came off, we owed HSBC a lot of money. When you've got challenges, problems need solutions. You can't lay down and die, can you? You can't lay down and die in a crisis in your life, and you can't in business. Resilience is very important. I think that that's something that I have got, and it's something that you have to have in business. But you have to have it in life as well.
Is it something that do you think that's just a behaviour that naturally comes to you, but can it be taught? Is it?
Look, I don't think you can teach someone to be an entrepreneur. I don't think you can teach someone to be resilient, but you can give them the tools, you can inspire them, you can give them the tools to think, well, yes, I can. Yes, I can have a go. Yes, because if I don't buy a lottery ticket, I'm not going to win the lottery. If I've walked through every door, and I went on The Apprentice at 60 years old, and did I know one thing about television? Absolutely not. And when Alan Sugar phoned me up, he said, "Can you do it?" Well, if I'd have said no, I probably wouldn't be sat here today talking to you, would I? But I thought, have a go. What's the worst that can happen? And I found out actually I'm inspirational and can read a business plan.
So, I'll come back to The Apprentice, but does it then frustrate you, people who aren't willing to just say yes to everything?
Well, no, because I've got empathy, I've got understanding.
Okay.
Not everybody is brave, and it's easy to be brave when you've got absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
It's harder to be brave. And I gave a lot of talks in the pandemic because a lot of middle-aged people were being made redundant, and everybody's got skills. And if you're older, you've got experience, but it's how do you transfer those skills? How do you pivot? So, I think that not everybody can be an entrepreneur, not everybody, but everybody can have a go. Everybody gets an opportunity. And it's really, I hope that my kind of talks give people the inspiration to think, yeah, I can have a go. Because here's a woman that has been having a go all her life.
Yeah. So and you touched on it there. Do we have a problem as a society in terms of how we view kind of older workers and opportunities out there?
Look, my mantra, age is no barrier to success. Yes, we live in a young world, but what I would say, and when I give talks sometimes to older people or charities, you've got to stay relevant. You've got to stay relevant in life. So the truth is, I might not be a whiz on computers or a whiz on AI, etc., but I stay relevant. I see what's going on in the world. I look around me, and I tailor myself. I mean, if you take The Apprentice, which you might want to talk about soon, but the average age for The Apprentice is 16 to 39. That's our average audience. But if you look at Alan, me, Claude, we're all older, the advisors. But I guess he wants an older team of advisors, because although we're interviewing young people and although I'm reading young business plans, he also wants the experience, and also horses for courses. He likes people who can guide him and say, look, someone might have a fabulous business plan, but they may not be able to work with Alan. So you've got to navigate through everything. Yeah, we're in a younger world, but by the same token, 60 is the new 50, 50 is the new 40. People are living longer, people are living younger lives, but you have to stay relevant. I know I have to stay relevant. I'm not going to read the business plans of 25 and 30-year-olds if I don't know what we're talking about.
Are you intentional about kind of making sure you are staying that relevant?
Yeah, yes. Yeah, I am.
So in terms of The Apprentice, I think the main question for me is obviously infamous for the interviews.
Yeah.
What are you looking for? Is it kind of, when you're sitting across someone, what is it you're looking for? How?
I'll give you a couple of words. Potential. Potential is very, very important. So what I'm looking for, first of all, if you're talking about a business plan, of course it's got to be an idea that's got legs. You've got to say, somewhere I can take this idea. If it is an idea, sometimes it's a young business, which Alan prefers, because he prefers someone that's already on the road. Right. But I'm looking for potential, and I'm looking for another thing. Is this person authentic? Are they the real deal? Because I put a lot into being authentic. I think it's very, very important. So I'm looking for potential. I'm looking for, can this business, has it got legs?
Yeah.
Can it go somewhere? Is it realistic as well? Because they make the same mistake time and time again. They come with a small business, fine. And there's nothing wrong in having great aspirations. It's important, but walk before you can run. Show me you've got the steps. And it's what I look for in the interviews, in the business plan. And I'm looking at the person, because don't forget, when I meet the people, I haven't seen the show. I get a little bit of an overview, but that's good in a way, because just like Alan, doesn't see the business plans. They all put them in day one, but he doesn't see them until the final 5, and nor should he, because he might be hiring and firing on a business plan instead of on a person. So in everything I've ever done in my life, in my businesses and everything else, when I'm looking at people, I'm always looking for the potential in that person, whether I'm hiring them to work for me, whether they're showing me a business plan. It's very important. It's got to have legs and it's got to make sense, and it's not got to be utterly ridiculous.
So from your perspective, what's more important then? The business plan more than the person?
Both. But obviously, if it's a great business plan, usually it goes hand in hand with a person that's got something about them. I think you've got to have both. If you're going to work with Alan or Alan's team, you can have a fantastic business plan. If he can't work with you because he thinks you're some nutter or something, he's not gonna work with you. And, we had the very thing happen this year. We had exactly those scenarios. So I think both are important, but it goes hand in hand as well. Quite often, you hardly ever get nutters who've got a great business plan.
And do you kind of bear in mind they're on television and therefore they're very conscious about the cameras when you're doing this whole thing? Kind of, do you find they act differently to where you have kind of are they how staged are they?
Well, when they get to me, they're worn down. It's week 11. Let me tell you, it's week 11, and they have had 10 weeks of no phone calls, 1 2-minute phone call, and the tasks are grueling. They really are. So although people watch the television and it's edited to make it comical, to make it funny, to make it everything it needs to be, to have an entertainment show, because reality TV is TV first. But when they get to me, I would say they're not camera shy, they're not anything shy. So, they come before me sometimes and they think they're going to get a good grueling, because that's what I'm known for. And they are, but I always start my interviews, although it's not shown. It's never personal. It's never personal. I like to think I'm firm but fair, but if you give me a business plan that is wreckable, I'm going to wreck it. Because at the end of the day, we're doing a show. It's £250,000 investment. And, it's part and parcel of why Alan called me up to be an interviewer. He wanted someone, his very words, dig deep, expose the weaknesses, give me good television. Can you do it? Well, could I do it? I think I did it.
And do you still enjoy it?
Yeah, I do. I mean, when I get the business plans 1 week before, I think, oh my God, why am I still doing this? I mean, I get business plans. I got one this year, 116 pages, and I have to read it.
Wow.
And it all sounded fabulous till I got to page 112, the financials. And then when I looked at the financials, the current business that he wanted to do an offshoot of, which wouldn't happen, was losing money. So, so the business plans, listen, it's serious. And sometimes I have to learn myself, because if I get a trading business, I'm pretty good at that. I know a lot about it. But I might get something completely off the scale. It's, it's a cafe, it's a bakery. I also have to learn things. How am I going to interview someone if I don't know what I'm talking about? So it's a bit of a,
Have you had my last question? Have you had any instances whereby posts, kind of what they've done post the Apprentice, kind of they've surprised you and they can direct directions?
So I always, even the final 5 that I interview at the wrap party, I usually meet them, and they usually want to come up and talk to me. And there's no hard feelings. I keep in touch with some of them. Yeah, I do. And they keep in touch with me, and I'm always there, available if they want to talk to me or ask me. And invariably at the wrap parties, they go, Linda, can we just tell you about this? Can we tell you about that? And I think that I never thought, my journey has been a journey that's ongoing. Did I ever think I would be in the public eye? Did I ever think I'd go everywhere and people would stop me? And did I ever think that I could and do inspire hundreds of people when I talk? No, I never thought I'd do that. So I feel I owe it to the people to actually, I've got time for people.
Linda, thanks so much for your time today. Lovely chatting.
Thank you.
Cheers.